It's such good spirit here at the Trotter, and Principal Thomas did an amazing job. Love seeing the chant. It's so important for our students to be reaffirmed with each other, and it's exciting. It was great to have this be my first school. It's right down the street from my house. It took me exactly 7 minutes, and even with the school buses. And it's just exciting to be here. I'm really looking forward to it. To working with all of the talented people here at BPS. Big thank you to Drew Eccleston for all the work that he's done in the transition. I feel well prepared, and just excited to get going with our mission of the whole child, making sure that academically, social, emotionally, physically, our well-being of students is our mission and our job. And so looking forward to visiting all of our schools and working with our central team to get that mission to happen and our priorities this year.
What's the first area to tackle this year as far as the challenges go?
So we will be ensuring that we have a list of priorities that we've laid out. It's sort of back to basics. We want to make sure that all the foundation is set as we layer more initiatives, more innovation on top. So that includes really a deep focus on our academics, on our social emotional learning in the classrooms, on our family engagement, and a big commitment to having a real dialogue, an authentic dialogue with the community, two ways, not just us speaking, but really having them weigh in and be able to use their advocacy for informing policy. Transparency, accountability. We certainly, with our Destiny MOU, we'll be following that, but we've always said that's a baseline. We intend to surpass that. We have big goals, and we want to be able to meet those goals. I think, some of the areas that we're working hard on, transportation, you saw the buses, they were here on time. We're not where we want to be yet, but we're moving in that direction. I'm really pleased with a lot of the data so far, particularly correcting a lot of the missed routes that would happen last year. And so at the beginning of the year, despite the orange line closure, we were still, meeting last year and exceeding last year's baselines. And now, we're definitely moving forward with some deep strategies around working with the union, with restructuring the contract. That's definitely helped with our on-time percentage and on our missed routes. Just a big shout out to our transportation department. They're working around the clock to get this right. We've even started our own training for CDL so that we can have a bench, which is what we really need, extra drivers, so that we ensure we don't have missed routes and we ensure the on-time percentage comes up. Orange Line coming back online certainly helped us. There's still a lot of congestion, and that's what we're still sort of seeing with the buses, particularly in the afternoons. So that'll be our work over the course of the next few weeks to get that right. We know, for families it's very difficult when they can't rely on a bus, or a bus doesn't come, or a bus breaks down and we have to send a replacement. So this is an area that we have to get right in the BPS.
What is this day like for you, just given the transition phase that you have been going through, and what was that process like to get to today?
Yeah, so it's been a really, the last 3 months has been very emotional to leave one place you love and come to another place that you love people. So it's been very emotional, especially last week because it was my final week in Somerville. But I feel well prepared. I can't say enough how the team has done such an excellent job with the transition, ensuring I have the information that I need. I'm briefed on everything, been part of decision making. And so, I come in today, just nervous, excited, very hopeful, and just looking forward to collaborating and working with our city, with our mayor. We're blessed to have the mayor that we have. That she's so committed to our schools, to Chair Robinson and the school committee, to our city council, and certainly to the BPS team. So that all speaks to me of hope and big expectation, and we're going to do our best to meet those expectations.
Earlier you mentioned the DESI MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Is that the agreement that was made with the state?
It is, yeah.
So I guess how challenging is that to start here with that as kind of part of your role now?
Right. So, again, the deadline, we've had several deadlines, all of which we've met and exceeded. I think the team we have a very strong team, cross-stakeholder team that's working on the agreement. And so I feel well prepared, having, reviewed it and working with the team as we've met those initial benchmarks. And we will meet the rest. But again, our goal is to exceed. Our goal is going to be, in meeting the needs of the whole child. I've said from the start that this is an opportunity for us as a city to come together around the Boston Public Schools in a way that has existed in the past, and when it did, we were an amazing district. And so I feel like we have the opportunity to become better and better and better, ensuring that it's the village. It's our philanthropic, our nonprofit, our business community, our higher ed community, everybody coming to the table to support, because it's not something that's going to improve and get to where we have that surety that for every single student that comes to the Boston Public Schools, we're meeting their parents' expectations and their expectations. That can only happen if we all come together. So I'm looking forward to, it's my style of collaboration and working with people, and I'm looking forward to that personally.
You've been credited with increasing graduation rates and decreasing dropout rates as a network superintendent. Mm-hmm. What specific policies or practices or procedures do you credit for that?
Yeah, so this is actually deep life work for me. Regardless of the district, whether it's here or Somerville, I see dropouts as the adults failing the students, and I don't like that. I and myself included. So one of the first things they did, I think it was actually the morning that after I was appointed, was to ask the team to start working on the dropouts. I think that the pandemic has been extremely challenging, and students that were here, as in other districts, and they were off track, they became very much off track during that time. So, it really is a system. You have to have a system for it. And part of that is having a strong attendance program where you're really working, when you see a pattern evolve in the attendance, it speaks to dropout to start. And then you're constantly working with the family, working with the students, figuring out what kinds of educational options might be available to that student to help them to get back on track, putting social emotional supports in place. But it's really knowing every one of your students. And that is the level of accountability that I held myself and my team to when I was a principal of Tech Boston, when I was a superintendent in Somerville, and it'll be the same here in the district. I am happy to say that our team is already on it. We know the students that have dropped out. We're waiting for the attendance to finalize so we can see if there's any additional. We partnered deeply with the Re-Engagement Center. And the Re-Engagement Center door knocks, they go out, our supervisors of attendance go out, and the goal is to make a reconnection with the family and the student, who sometimes the student doesn't see a path forward, and it's helping the student to understand there is always a path forward. So we're going to be working every single student, and that's really how you get from, I think it was like a 7.5 or 6 dropout when I first came into the network soup position, down to a 4.5, and even not satisfied until every student is contacted and we have some option. It also means engaging adult ed, which we're fortunate to have a strong adult ed program here in the city, because some students reach an age where, with work and so forth, they need a real different opportunity. So we'll be doing all of that, and this will be a piece of data that I'll be following greatly as we build these systems back into the BPS.
There was a shooting a block away yesterday, 6 o'clock in the evening. An officer's car was hit twice. Just in instances like that, how are you going to kind of just handle safety concerns moving forward?
So we have safety scripted out. Were that to happen, when it happens during the day, we have a safety team we dispatch, very strong, to come to the school to support the community. Our social workers, if there's a situation where students are seeing something, certainly we would have our social workers here for social emotional supports, contacting families, letting them know. We live in a city, and when things happen, we have to be prepared to respond to those at the school level. But our school's in good hands with our safety division and with our student support division.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, and thank you for being so respectful when the students were coming off to the couple that were, didn't really like the campus. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Sarah, on Channel 5.
Look forward.
Hi, Maddie.
Nice to meet you. Maddie.
you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Yeah, I appreciate it, Alan.
thoughts are with Superintendent Skipper starting today?
It's an exciting day. We've had a couple first days of school now. We sent off the older students and then kindergartners and pre-K started, and now this is the first day of school for our superintendent. So Mary has been incredibly hard at work already. I've been saying it doesn't necessarily feel like this is her first day because we've already been on the phone early in the morning, late at night, troubleshooting issues, mapping out what's to come next, and you won't find anyone more excited about the future of our district, more passionate about the young people, and more knowledgeable about what we need to do from the littlest details all the way up to the big picture. So I couldn't be more thrilled that she is fully here for the district as our new superintendent today, and we're starting out the day at one of our schools that we are so proud of. You can feel the moment you set foot into a school what the energy is of the day. Our students just kind of radiate that energy as soon as they come off the buses and come in the door. And at the Trotter, it's just warmth and love and excitement. So all of the school visits that I've had the chance to go to accompany Mary alongside this year have been incredibly hopeful, and we are committed to making sure that not only does that good stuff happen in the classrooms and support our educators and young people and school staff, but we recognize that what happens in schools is directly tied to everything going on in the community too. So we're wrapping around all sorts of resources and services through our schools and our children's cabinet, and it's incredible momentum for the city of Boston.
What was that transition process like from your vantage point, just the last several months, but then in working since the school year started?
Mary has been working very, very hard. Anytime that we had an issue, she was calling me. Most times I didn't even have to call her, she was already reaching out. Anytime that we had a question come up, a major decision to make, she and Acting Superintendent Drew Eccleston were side by side in sync. And so I'm incredibly grateful to the whole BPS team, as in some ways we've been blessed to have two superintendents during this transition period, and it's been a smooth handoff. We've been preparing for this moment, and of course Dr. Eccleston remains in the district in a major leadership role, and so we get to benefit from building out our team of incredibly committed leaders and making sure that we keep adding to that expertise and passion for our young people.
And then just your reaction, if you don't mind, to the shooting yesterday there and just the proximity to the school.
Yeah, I'm incredibly relieved that the officer is safe and something worse did not happen. Those close calls are too much, and we are a city that's blessed in that our public safety numbers are headed in the right direction, and we're seeing improvement, and that's not necessarily the case for every major city around the country. That is a credit to the kinds of partnership and community policing and work that's happening all across the city to tackle the root causes of violence and make sure that our community members have resources, and that we're seeing this as an issue not just of violence and public safety in a silo, but connected to poverty, to mental health, to substance use, and the need for our economic recovery to move as fast as possible. So this is a reminder of the risks that our public safety staff and officers and first responders experience on a day-to-day basis. So I'm very grateful for their work, and it's all the more motivation that we have to get to root causes and put the resources in the right places so we don't have to be talking about guns on our streets and violence in our communities. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, okay.
So we're not committing with them. We'll shut down. Oh, you want to do this?